Scorpio 13, an inventor, experimenting. So the pursuit of knowledge is indicated here. We're a curious race, the human species. We're looking for knowledge all of the time. We look for information. We look for gossip. We look for explanations of scientific material, emotional occurrences, geography and political interactions. We're always looking for reasons to explain what's going on. And that's a version of the deeper question, the deepest question almost, which is equivalent to the question, who am I? And it is, what is the meaning of life? They're not really different questions. So Scorpio 13 is about asking the question, what is the meaning of life? It's not that difficult, considering how many people speak of it as though it's an impossible target to reach in life. We'll never know the meaning of life. I don't find it so confusing. I think it's a paradox, and so you have to couch it in terms which are a little bit, on the face of it, clever rather than wise. I like to say something like this: the meaning of life is to discover the meaning of life. And it seems like nonsense, but you think about it and it's actually quite good. It's different for us all. There is no universal meaning of life that we can grasp. I think that's what we project onto our ideas of God. God is the one person, the one energy, the one being, the one consciousness that knows the meaning of life fully and deeply. This is what we come to understand. And yet the subjective approach to that question, how we choose to bring that question into meaning itself. So the meaning of the question, what is the meaning of life, is what we relate to. And that's for us to decide. For sportsmen, it will be to achieve a gold medal at the Olympics. For a leading scientist, a Nobel Prize for physics, and so on. Each of us has a different meaning that we give to our life, which is very closely aligned with our goals. Now, those of us who might want some mystic experience in our life and move towards mysticism a little bit, even fully, the meaning of life for us is different. The meaning of life for us is more like how we reach the final breath and then have that final breath. How we are in that last moment as we move from this world to the next. Some of us would say that very last exhalation, that's the meaning of life. That's the sum total of where we are when we pass from this particular world to the next one. That's the essence of it. We carry forward the essence of it all. We don't carry our things forward. We don't actually carry very much of our emotionality forward. We carry quite a lot of our understandings forward, as long as we understand the word understanding not simply to be thoughts, but embodied, heart-centered intelligence. If we take that understanding forward, and then that understanding is profound, then we've done a good thing. That's the meaning of life for us, to see what we understand at the end of it all and what we carry forward to the next life. So the teaching is basically that we make it all up. Life. All of our perceptions, all of our situations, all of our responses, they're evidence of our creativity, nothing more. They're evidence of our pattern of choices, the contours of what we decide would be good or would be bad, what we're afraid of or what we're hoping for, is all made up into the who-ness. Who are we? And what we project into the world is that. That's who we are, what we project into the world. if we come to learn this, to take responsibility for everything that happens to us, for all of our feelings, all of our thoughts, all of the indignities that we suffer, and all of our successes as well, if we're responsible for all of those things, that identifies who we are, and it identifies what meaning we give to ourselves and therefore to life. It's actually that simple. And so the test then becomes how to shape the mind, because it is the mind that creates the outpouring of this. The heart and the mind and any spiritual conscience we have, they all come to alignment, and the creative expression of that is something that the mind shapes. So if the mind shapes the world that we have, the world that we live in, what shapes the mind? How do we shape the mind? And this is the mystery of the sign. What are you doing in order to make sure that the shape of your mind pleases you and authentically represents you? Exercises in this are recommended. Not only exercises we do at school to move us from being a little bit more flowing and lazy and accepting than actually the world will allow. We're brought to a point of focus at school, and we're given a lot of false information at school to train us to be what society needs us to be to support its economic and religious attitudes. But beyond that, we can start finding out how to shape the mind. We must study independently to do that. Easy nowadays, very easy nowadays with Wikipedia and so on. We must also make sure that we put ourselves in the company of people who think differently from us. And we might disagree with them, or we might learn from them, but we do need to interact with them. And we will also need to go into situations which are new situations, such as traveling or studying something which is outside of our normal realm of interest, meeting with people who really aren't our kind of people, but just interacting with them and seeing if we can find something about them which is meaningful. All of these processes change how we think, and therefore that changes who we are and what we get in life. That shapes life. So the meaning of life, therefore, is to shape the mind in order to discover what we choose to be the meaning of life. We make it all up.